करो जूम इन जूम आउट करते रहो आराम से. Hare Krishna. So I request all of you to please be seated here so that we can start something about Yamuna River. So now we'll be discussing beautiful prayers composed by Rupa Goswami known as Yamuna Astakam. I've shared this prayer on the group. You can all see that. We'll be discussing what the significance of Yamuna and how the Yamunotri is very, very important place for us to as spiritually. So I have shared one Google Doc on the group. If you want to open, you can open. That's a prayers written by Srila Rupa Goswami, one of the very prominent Acharya in our parampara. So I'll be reading the translation, then we'll be discussing about it. So it says, Bhartur antakasya patane abhipatti harini prekshanti papino api papa sindhu tarini Nira madhuri virapya ashesha chitta bandini Maam punatu sarva da arvinda bandhu nandini. It says, May Shri Yamuna, who is a daughter of Surya Deva, who saves one from having to enter the city of her brother Yamaraj, the sight of whom enables the most sinful person to cross the ocean of sin, and the sweetness of whose water charms the heart of everyone, always purifies me. So as we discussed in the morning also that Yamuna and Yamaraj, they are brother sister, and there is a boon which is given by Yamaraj to Yamuna, that the brother sister, if they bathe in the mother Yamuna, then they will never have to enter the city of Yamaraj. She's so purifying that simply by entered into her water, we can get freed from all the sin. We can become free from all the sinful reactions, it is said. It is said, the sight of whom enables the most sinful person to cross the ocean of sin. Simply by sight. Simply by having darshan of Yamuna, we will be able to cross over the ocean of sin. It's not only small amount of sin. It's like ocean of sin. And the sweetness of whose water charms the heart of everyone, always purifies me. So as we know, the Mother Yamuna is the teardrop of Vishnu. This talks a lot about her existence. This talks a lot about her situation in Krishna's Leela. So when Krishna expressed his devotion towards his devotees, that's how she appeared. So means she is the mother of devotion. So from her, the devotion originates. So Krishna has expressed his emotion towards his devotee, and that emotion has got expressed through the tear. And she is the manifestation of that tear. You can just imagine this Yamuna is a devotion personification in that way. So from where the devotion originates. And before we enter into the realm of devotion, we have to be freed from all the sin. Unless we are freed from all the sin, we cannot enter into the realm of devotion. Even Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yesham tu antagata papam jananam punya karmanam te dvanda moha nirmukta bhajante mam dhrida vrataha. We can't become determined in the service of Krishna unless we are freed from all the sinful reaction in our life. Because those sin will continue becoming hindrances in our devotional service. So when Mother Yamuna, we touch Mother Yamuna, we see Mother Yamuna, it's like she's clearing our path towards devotional service by purifying us from all the sinful reaction. So she is not purifying our sin just for the sake of so that we can continue doing more sin. It is not that. It is so that we can express, we can become enabled, and we can go towards devotional service of the Lord without any hindrances. That's the main purpose. Let us go to the next verse. May Shri Yamuna, who is the daughter of Surya Deva, who decorates the great Khandava forest with a stream of pleasant water, who is filled with lotus flowers and dancing birds, and who blinds the terrible sins of they who desire to bathe in her, always purifies me. So here it is said that simply by desiring to bathe in her, she can blind the terrible sins. It means the sinful tendencies. We can be freed from the sin, but still the sinful tendencies may remain. So if we desire to take bath to bathe in Mother Yamuna, even by that desire, that she can blind us from performing more sinful reaction, more sins. So not only she is removing the sinful reaction, but she is also removing the sinful tendencies of a jiva, and which will help us purifying. That is one aspect. And second aspect is that since Mother Yamuna is the one who is flowing from here, and she goes towards Vrindavan, because we had gone to Vrindavan, we had seen Mother Yamuna there also. So Mother Yamuna there is witnessing and participating in many Krishna's pastimes. The pastimes of Krishna killing Kaliya, the pastime of Krishna performing Rasa dance, the pastime of Krishna playing with his coward boy in Vrindavan. So how come she could get a fortune? She could enable herself to be able to be participating in those wonderful pastimes. It is because if you see, the Mother Yamuna is flowing from here, from the mountains, and from the mountains she is going through all the terrains, all the difficulties, all the challenges, and then she is entering into Vrindavan. So it means she is exemplifying with her own nature, that you have to go through all the difficulties of life to be able to enter into Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. She herself, you see how difficult the terrain is, how we came, and she's crossing through all the difficulties. She's not stopping anywhere. All these are huge big mountains, let me stop now. She's not doing that. She's so malleable, she's so flowing, with a flow of devotion, that the water liquidity is allowing her to flow towards Vrindavan. Otherwise, if it is more earthly, it will be difficult for her to pass through all the resistance which she faces in her path. So another way we can understand is, if the devotion is very intensified like of Mother Yamuna, we can go through all the challenges of life to be able to reach Vrindavan. Vrindavan means reaching the Krishna consciousness, where everything is for Krishna. So she's teaching us with her own example that how before we enter into the real Krishna consciousness, we have to face all those difficulties. And with those difficulties, we'll be able to purify us from all the sin and then enter into the realm of devotion. There's a deeper understanding of it. Let us go to the third verse. It says, May Shri Yamuna, who is the daughter of Surya Deva, a drop of whose water destroys the sinful reactions of the people, who creates a great flood of confidential pure devotion service to the Lord Nandanandana, and who brings auspiciousness, who desire to live on her shore, always purify me. So there are many great examples in our Bhagavatam wherein devotees take shelter of Mother Yamuna by living at her shore, like Dhruva Maharaj. When Narad Muni came to instruct him on the path of Bhakti so that he can fulfill his desire to see Vishnu, that time he instructed him, okay, you do one thing, you chant this mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, you go to Madhuvan near the bank of Yamuna. There you perform the austerities. So for a devotee, it's very auspicious to be living and to be visiting the bank of Mother Yamuna, because there when we perform devotional service, its intensity magnifies 100 times, and the result which we get is much more if we perform at other places. Because Dhruva Maharaj could become perfect only in 6 months by living at the bank of Yamuna and by chanting Krishna's name. So that is what is said here is, who bring auspiciousness to they who desire to live on her shore, always purify me. That is one thing. The second thing is here, a drop of whose water destroys the sinful reaction of the people. So simply by having darshan, the thousands of ocean of sins get destroyed. Simply by touching the water, desiring to touch the water, we become purified, we get blinded from the sin, and simply by touching that water, we get freed from the all the sinful reactions. Not only that, so her purpose is not to only purify us from sin. Her purpose as an agent of Krishna is to take us back to Krishna. That is why pure devotees comes to this world so that they can purify us. For an example, Tulsi Devi. Vrinda Devi in a plant form, she expands as Vrinda Devi. Vrinda Devi expands as Tulsi in a form of plant. So we really can't touch the Vrinda Devi. She's in her own feminine, most beautiful, most executive form. We can't approach that form. But easily we can approach the water form. Easily we can approach the plant form. So these devotees of Krishna are expanding themselves in the form of water, in the form of books, in the form of plant, so that we conditioned soul who cannot directly approach them can access to their mercy and become purified. So if we have to approach the form of Mother Yamuna as we tracked so far, and still we could just have darshan, but it's not possible for everyone. The people who living all across the India. So she herself is going everywhere to give the blessings. Like Jagannath, once in a year he goes out, who cannot see him, to give his darshan. Similarly, these expanded form of this personality expand themselves as water, trees, and everything, so that we can easily access them. And then when we access them, when we become purified, being in their presence, then what happens is we become eligible to go in the higher in devotional service. And to that level of devotional service, where we what's the word used here? We become over flooded with the pure love of confidential service to Krishna, who creates a great flood of confidential pure devotional service to Lord Nandanandana. So like she's flooding all the places. Similarly, if we continue worshipping her, if we continue praying to her, she can even flood our heart with devotion in the same spirit. So that's the meaning of third verse. Let us go to the fourth verse. May Shri Yamuna, who is a daughter of Surya Deva, who divides the seven oceans and seven continents, who witnessed many of Lord Mukunda's transcendental pastimes, and whose splendor rebukes a host of sapphire, always purifies me. It is she who has witnessed all the Lord Mukunda's pastimes. May it be pastimes of killing Kaliya, may it be pastime of performing Rasa dance, may it be pastime of killing Keshi demon. It may be any pastime. It was so ecstatically flowing. As soon as she would see Krishna, she would start flowing. She started creating more strong waves. So that's her nature, to be always near to Krishna, to be always serving Krishna. So by serving Mother Yamuna, we can imbibe that spirit of serving Krishna in any way we can possibly. Let us go to the next one. May Shri Yamuna, who is a daughter of Surya Deva, who is decorated by the beautiful district of Mathura, who expertly protects those they who follow the path of loving devotion service, and who with the playful motion of water that are her arms offer respectful obeisances to Lord Padmanabha's feet, always purify me. So her waves, Mother Yamuna's waves, are compared to two arms, wherein she always wants to touch Krishna's lotus feet. And that exactly happened when Krishna was born and when Vasudeva was carrying Krishna from Mathura to Gokul. At that point of time, she became overflooded because as soon as Krishna appeared, she wanted to touch Krishna's feet. She wanted to take Krishna's blessings. And Krishna became so merciful that she had a desire of touching Krishna's feet. He became even so merciful that he himself jumped into the Mother Yamuna. So she allows Mother Yamuna to touch his entire body, not only lotus feet. Similarly, when we have a desire to touch Krishna's feet and serve Krishna's feet, He will not only give his lotus feet, he will give his own self to the devotee. So when Mother Yamuna wanted to serve lotus feet of Krishna, Krishna became so pleased that he gave his own complete self. So devotees feel humble that they only want devotional service by serving lotus feet of Krishna, but that does not mean will only be there. Krishna will come and give us his own complete self, and he will enable us to see, witness all his transcendental pastimes, as Mother Yamuna was able to perceive and see. Sixth verse says, May Shri Yamuna, who is a daughter of Surya Deva, whose charming shores are decorated with many loving cows, who is filled with many splendid and fragrant kadamba flowers, and who is delighted to have company of Lord Krishna's devotee, always purify me. So when is she delighted? When is Mother Yamuna delighted? When she has a company of Lord Krishna's devotees. She is not only wanting Krishna, she also wants Krishna's devotee. Similarly, because Krishna becomes happy once we receive him with his associates, because they are very, very dear to him. So she is always decorated with many loving cows. In what pastimes she is decorated with loving cows? Anybody can guess? In what case she is decorated by loving cows? When Krishna used to go and perform the pastime of cow herding or herding the cows, grazing the cows in the Govardhan Parvat. She is flowing all across, and she was witnessing all those pastimes when Krishna. If you imagine, you would have seen the Krishna's picture where Krishna is walking through and running with his own boyfriends and cows in the bank of Mother Yamuna. These are the wonderful pastimes which Mother Yamuna always, she's always eager in that way. She's always eager that when will Krishna come and perform many pastimes. So her mood is always, when will Krishna come and touch me? When will I touch Krishna's lotus feet? That is her delightness. That is what gives her delight. So although she is the one who is spreading all over the universe, but where is the place where she found the most peaceful? Where is the place what she always seek? Lotus feet of Krishna. Similarly, no matter which place devotee lives, wherever devotee goes, the devotee always wants to remain at lotus feet of Krishna. Like from the mountains to the plains, all across the universe, she is flying. But she only finds peace and she only finds that satisfaction when she's at lotus feet of Krishna. Similarly, when we become devotee of Krishna, we can understand that no matter what we get, no matter how much wealth we get, no matter how much position we get, no matter where we live in the world, but the true satisfaction comes from serving lotus feet of the Lord, like Mother Yamuna. Let us go to the next verse, seventh verse. It says, May Shri Yamuna, who is a daughter of Surya Deva, who is filled with the warblings of thousands of joyful Malika swans, who is worshipped by the Vaishnavas, Devas, Siddhas, and Kinnaras, in the slightest scent of fragrant breeze moving on those shores, stop the cycle of repeated birth and death, always purifies me. The attraction to that fragrance which is coming from her shore is so enchanting that we become completely captivated to that. And we become so captivated that we don't want to take birth again, we just want to go back to Krishna. Sometimes people says that how do I get inspiration to serve Krishna? The inspiration to serve Krishna comes by when we are in touch with the pure devotee of Krishna like Yamuna Devi. So if somebody has to give the price to purchase Bhakti, what is that price? If there is one price which you can pay to purchase Bhakti of Krishna, what is that price? It is said by Rupa Goswami, Tatra lolyam eko mulyam. Eko Mulyam, Eko Mulyam means the only one currency which can purchase Krishna's bhakti is Tatra Lolyam. Lolyam means greediness. More greedy we are for bhakti, more we'll get bhakti. But how will we get inspiration to get that bhakti? How will we become greedy to get bhakti of Krishna? Is by inspiration, motivation coming from the pure devotees like Mother Yamuna. So we can pray to her to inspire bhakti in our heart so that we can also enthusiastically, determinedly, patiently, and greedily continue in this path of performing devotional service. So that is what she can bless us. And that is why this place is so important for devotees of Krishna. And she is not only flowing in this earth, she is flowing where? She is flowing in Devaloka, Siddhaloka, Kinnarloka, Brahmaloka. So all across universe she is flowing. And everybody, even those demigods, wants to touch Mother Yamuna. So what we are touching, what benefit, what demigods would get when they would touch the Yamuna, we can get much more higher benefits by touching Yamuna and chanting Krishna's name in front of her. So in that way, we can become even more fortunate than the demigods. Because they're also seeking same what we are looking for. Okay, let's go to the next verse. It says, May Shri Yamuna, who is a daughter of Surya Deva, who is famous, splendid, spiritual river flowing through the Bhua Swa planet, who burns away the greatest sin, and who is always with scented ointment from Krishna's transcendental body, always purify me. So this verse says, from where Yamuna gets the power to purify us from all the sins. How Mother Yamuna becomes so powerful that simply by desiring to touch her, simply by seeing her, simply by bathing in her water, we can become free from all the sinful reaction. We can get inspiration to do devotional service. How she becomes so powerful? The answer is here. Who is fragrant with scented ointment from Lord Krishna's transcendental body. So the benefit we get by touching Yamuna is same benefit we get by touching Krishna's body, because she is touching Krishna's body. She is the one who is touching Krishna's transcendental body, and the scent and the energy and the transcendental bliss what Krishna's body has, she is taking, absorbing in her, and she is flowing like a river. So there's a beautiful verse, and also it says that she is a spiritual river. So one more important point is she is not the river of this world. She is the river who is directly flowing from spiritual world. So the water we are touching is not from this world; it's coming from spiritual world. And it is said in for spiritual world, Chinta mani prakarasat musha kalpa vriksha laksha vriteshu surbhi rabi palayantam. Every stone of spiritual world is act like a chintamani. Every stone. Anything of the spiritual world has chintamani touch in it. That it can transform the iron into the gold. So now Mother Yamuna also coming from spiritual world. So she also must have the Chintamani effect. So how what she is transforming as Chintamani river. So she is Chintamani river. So what is she transforming? She is transforming our iron-like heart into the golden heart. We have that iron-like hard heart wherein all the materialism is being deposited, and she is transforming that into a soft, golden-like flowing heart towards Krishna. Because earth cannot flow, and our heart is like earth; it can never flow toward Krishna. Only the soft, molten thing can flow. When our heart becomes molten-like by the inspiration drawing from Mother Yamuna, then only it can flow towards Krishna. Otherwise, it cannot flow toward Krishna. So that is a blessing which we can get from Mother Yamuna to transform our gold iron-like heart into golden heart. The last verse it says, O lotus eyed one, O daughter of Surya Deva, O rescuer from all the sins, please flood with pure devotional service that person who reciting these 8 prayers with a cheerful heart glorifies you, whose ways are pure and splendid, and who is accompanied by all the demigods. So anybody who reads 8 prayers, who prays these 8 prayers to Mother Yamuna, with cheerful heart, what will happen to them? They'll be flooded with pure devotion service. Please flood with pure devotion service. So we can also pray to her to please purify us from all the sin, to please inspire us to do bhakti, to please flood my heart with a tinge of devotion towards Krishna, so that we can also witness all the wonderful pastimes as she is the one who is witnessing. She has the right, she can give us, she can bless us, and mother are more than happy to bless their child if we take their shelter. So that's how we conclude. So anybody, any doubts, any questions, we can discuss. Otherwise, we'll do Kirtan for some time.